What's up tonight, guys? Yes, it's a little dark in here. I was scrambling to get things set up. So I'm going to turn on this other little light over here. It might make a difference. Maybe just a little bit of a difference. Yeah, a little bit. Today was a stupid busy day for me, guys. Now that it's summertime, of course, we have those other duties to do. It's called yard work. And I don't know if you all remember, there's a plant that usually sits over here by the window. And that plant had just gotten, way too big for the pot. So I cut the plant in half, and I got two large pots, and I transplanted half on each pot. So let's see if they survive. They should. I separated the root ball, put them in separate plants, separate pots. So it might be coming back in. I left it outside to get some fresh air and some sun and really watered it really well. And I put it in a nice pot. So when it comes back, it'll be in a white pot. And it still looks big. It was just overgrown like you wouldn't believe. So I got that done. And also, about 3 weeks ago, I cleaned up downstairs, spring cleaning. And I had a whole pile of trash by the back door, boxes and just all kinds of miscellaneous stuff. So I loaded that in the back of the truck and got that off to the dump. And that was about my Saturday. Tomorrow, I do plan on taking a bike ride. So tomorrow will be my relaxed day since today I worked pretty much all day. So tomorrow will be the relaxed day. Go out for a motorcycle ride. Maybe stop somewhere, get a bite to eat, do that, and not going to spend too much time, maybe a 2-hour ride. I want to kind of stay around the house and just kind of relax and just be at ease being at home, if that makes sense. But I do want to go out and ride the bike. This is the best time of the year. It's not overly hot, so you don't have to go really super fast, keeping the air on you to keep cool. So now is the time to go riding, so I definitely want to go riding tomorrow. So that was my day, and I guess you guys saw what I was playing. I have had this guitar on the channel before. I don't play it very much because I bought it for one of those guitars that I thought maybe someday might be worth something. This is the Squier 40th Anniversary Strat. Yeah, pretty much. 2 hours of work took me all day. Actually, my yard, there's a ton of stuff to weed eat around. I have the solar panel array in the backyard. I got a weed eat underneath that and around all the poles. Then I have my building that I keep all my tools and stuff in, so I got a weed eat around that. And then my house is under construction. So I have scaffolding on the back of my house and I can't get the mower in it. So I got a weed eat all under the scaffolding into the house about 6 foot out because of all the scaffolding on the back of the house. Of course, then I got the flower parts and stuff out in the yard, sidewalk. Uh, Takes about a little over an hour to do all the weed eating. The mowing's pretty quick. I got a zero turn, so, and it's a small yard. The mower, my neighbors laugh at me. The mower's way too big for my yard.
Jerry said all them monsters slash smoke breaks.
Yeah, exactly. Monsters and smoke breaks. My mower's too big for the yard, but I bought it back when I had a couple acres of ground, and it was taking me too long with my garden tractor to cut the grass. So I went out and bought an Exmark Explorer. It's basically a golf course mower to cut the grass, and it did great on open territory. And it's good. It spins around the trees, but here I just don't have enough open territory for it. My neighbors laugh at me when I was like, "Why do you use that big mower?" I'm like, "Well, if you don't use something, it goes bad. You got to start it, maintain it. So even though it only takes about 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes to actually cut the grass with that zero turn, it's still good for it to start and run. And so, yeah, it's about, as long as I don't let it get tall, it takes about 2.5 hours, maybe 3 hours to edge everything and get everything picked up. Then, like I said, I had the pot to do, then the dump. I don't know what actually took me that long. I'm sure I was doing other things, but it was a busy day. And literally right before the stream, I was shoving food down my throat because it was 7:50 when dinner actually came out. So I didn't really eat. I just kind of threw it in real quick, munched, tuned the guitar, and prayed everything was working. So,
Kurt said he was mowing today until the deck belt broke.
ooh, yeah. I had what was that thing? Great lawnmower. I wish I had it. I sold it. That was my lawn and garden tractor. It was a wheel horse. And the wheel horse had this belt that ran from the deck up to the front of the tractor, and then it would twist it, and then it would go off the side to the pulley on the side of the motor. I mean, everyone laughed at it, but wheel horse had that back in the 50s. And I had what was called a 1257. My tractor was a 12 horsepower built in 1957, and it was still going strong. It was a twin cylinder Kohler 12 horsepower on it. And back then you didn't need all this power because there was a gearbox on the mower deck. There was a gearbox for the tiller. There was gearboxes. So instead of having 30 horsepower just running hydraulic pumps, they actually used gearing and thought about things back then. So that 12 horsepower mower, you could till dirt with it. I had a little garden. I had a push blade for the front of it, and had a 36-inch belly motor. It was a 1257. It wasn't like a D class wheel horse. But if you're familiar with wheel horse, you know that kooky belt. And that broke on me one time, and I didn't really pay attention on how that thing twisted. And I had to go to my local Toro dealer because Toro bought wheel horse. And I had to say, "Man, do you all have a diagram?" I said, "I've tried this thing and tried this thing on how this belt goes back on this tractor." And it was kind of strange, but I did end up fixing it. But I ended up selling the tractor because I started using all the zero turn. I didn't have time for the garden. So just one of those things. Now I wish I had it. That would be the perfect little lawnmower for the yard that I have now because it was a 36-inch. I could have took the wheel weights off, took the fluid out of the tires, and it would have been fine here. So that was my day. So I guess tomorrow you'll be fixing your belt on your deck. That shouldn't take too long. There's probably a spring pulley, idler pulley that you pull back, put the belt on. Shouldn't be too bad. Well, here it is. Just thought I'd break this one out. I wanted to pick something that I hadn't really played in a while, and I think we did play this guitar one time on the stream. And the introduction, I was in the second position, so it's a Fender Strat. You know, the second and fourth position is what people really go to. That's our second position. This is the fourth position. It's got the Strat sound. Now, if y'all remember our review on the Fender Standard, watch this guitar. That's first position. It is far quieter than that Fender Standard American. It's third position again. It's very quiet. Fifth position.
Kurt said it probably has the cheap Fender noiseless pickups.
The Fender Standard definitely did not have the noiseless pickups. Let me pull up in the chat window so I can see what you guys are going over here. Kurt probably has the cheap Fender noiseless pickups.
He had said you're clipping the channel.
Am I clipping? Check, check, check. Yeah, I'm very close to clipping on both. Let me turn both of them down just a little bit. I'm right at -10. Let's give it a little bit further down. Check, check. Check, check. That's just above -15. And I feel myself offsetting my playing because of this right here. I don't know. I love the sound of a Fender Strat. I like the sound that I get out of the guitar when I'm playing it. I cannot play a Fender without it rolling the volume down. And I know it's not the guitar's fault. It is 100% me hitting the volume knob. See, these pickups still have a nice articulate, you can hear the tone value. Even on a high gain channel, these pickups have a good sound. You can hear the high tone coming out. This guitar really wasn't received too well when it first came out. One, Squire, I think, overpriced the guitar. When these guitars first come out, they were the price of the Fender Standard. They were asking $599 for this guitar, a Squire, 40th anniversary. It didn't go over too well.
They're saying there's a rattle or bad ground or something because a couple of them say they hear the rattle.
Oh, you know what it is, guys? What you're hearing is through the overhead mic. My apologies. Let me do a direct feed. So basically what you're hearing is this guitar directly out of the Yamaha into this thing. So let me do the Mackie thing and bring it back over. Like, you're hearing a combination. You're hearing this and my control room monitor. So let me switch it around, guys. It should sound much better here, but I am going to have to put my headphones on. I didn't even pay attention that I was being able to hear the guitar. Because without my headphones on, I shouldn't be able to hear the guitar. Okay, now let's try it. And that would also be why the gain levels were messed up. that's directly into the interface. So here's position 2. Kurt, does it need to come up more? That's almost getting into the red. And right now, see? Gotta turn the volume back up. This is our 4th position. Let's do that little ditty I like doing with gain. See how articulate it is. That's in the 4th position. We're down to our 2nd position. It's got a good sound. Other than me misfretting a lot, it sounds good. And I see we got Time Surfing Ailing in the group. It's good to see you, buddy. Anyway, this is our 40th anniversary guitar.
You got Dave Baker too.
Dave Baker. Nice. If you're new to the group, Mr. Baker, welcome. Everybody's has an opinion in this group, and everyone's opinion is welcome. That's the point in this channel. We're not here to argue. We're just here to talk guitar stuff. Everybody likes different stuff, and there's a reason why you like the stuff you like. And here, that's what we talk about. We bring up what we use, why we use it, and we just share it with other people. My job is to kind of facilitate it, even though you guys don't seem to need it. I go back and watch the streams, and there's always multiple conversations going on, and that's great. That's what the chat's about, for you guys to get together and hang out, just like we used to at the music stores.
Tom Sarpnalen said you're not giving anyone the clap?
No, we're not giving the clap anymore. I went and got a shot of penicillin. Yep. So now Devastator, I don't know if he got his shot or not. So you might get it from Devastator or Jerry or somebody else. But that's our 40th anniversary guitar. When I purchased the guitar, they were at $450. So they went from $599 to $550 to $499. And I don't know what they're really selling at right now, but I purchased this one off Pro Audio Star on Reverb. And if you guys aren't familiar with that seller, pay attention to them. They have some crazy, stupid deals. It's called, what did I just say? I just said it. Now my little squirrel brain doesn't, Pro Audio something. I just said, you'll have to rewind. I just said it. Pro Audio Star, I think is what it is. They have some really crazy deals on there. So pay attention to those guys. I see that they have open box stuff all the time. Sometimes up to like 40 and 50% off. It's kind of crazy. They have some good deals. That's where I bought my little Crown Power Amp. I got the 1502 Crown, and I paid, I think, $199 for it, which was a crazy deal. And it was brand new in the box, unopened at $199. So, of course, I jumped on it because my Yamaha P7000 is a little long in the tooth, and it needed a much-needed a break. I took it to an amp guy, and they put new potentiometers in the front of it, got it fixed up. But while it was in the shop, I picked up this Crown. And the Crown has really served me well. It's a nice-sounding amplifier. So I'm looking at time surfing. Oh, we got Vox Guitar come in before late this time. Good to see you, Vox.
I think he was in a little bit ago.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, I need to go over who all is in here. I see we got Devastator, Juke, Kurt, Stefan, Time Surfing Alien, Nicholas, which we're gonna get back to Nicholas. We gotta talk about Nicholas for a second. Pentagore, Jerry, Dave Baker. And am I missing anybody? Vox. And I'm looking back because I'm seeing maybe there's somebody that said something earlier. If I missed you, type something in to slap me in the face so I know you're in the group. But anyway, back to what I was talking about.
Derek Hensley.
Who is it?
Derek Hensley.
Oh, Derek Kinsley. Derek. I know a couple Dereks, but I'm not familiar with the last name, so it might not be the same person. If you're new to the chat, welcome. Everybody here is super cool. Everyone here shares information, so just anytime you want to chime in, you can chime in. Anyway, I want to get back to something Nicholas sent to me, and I have not tried them yet because I wanted to show you guys. Nicholas sent me a little letter, and he sent us $10 for the guitar fund. And he says he's watched my picking, and if you watch me pick the guitar, guys, I actually have a pretty peculiar picking thing. I pick like this. This finger does not hold the pick. I pick between my pointer and my thumb, and I roll the pick back instantly off my thumb back to here, cradle it, and then I can tap. And then I push with my thumb back into my playing position.
Derek says he's been on for a while. He talked to you about Fernandez one time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, guys, I'll be honest with you. The bigger the channel gets, the harder it is for me to remember, okay, if that makes sense. Now, there's a difference. There's a core group that kind of shows up every week. So I'm always, I see them. But if I don't see you every week, I hate to say it, my little squirrel brain goes out somewhere. And it's nothing against anybody. It's just there's a lot of communication between different people, stuff that's going on here that I'm working on guitar-wise, plus work. plus editing videos, it's difficult for me to keep everything straight, if that makes sense. But this is what he sent me, and he sent me some little picks. And this is the pick I normally use, so you can kind of see the pick is a little smaller. And it's almost like it looks like it's the same, but this side here is just a little longer when it comes down. And it has a chamfer on the pick. So it's a very thick pick. It's a 1.5 and a 2. And in the letter he says start with the 2. So I am going to do that. I am going to peel this number 2 off. And I am going to try this thing. And you can see it's quite thick. This is called it's kind of hard to read in here. What was this called, hun?
It's a flow pick.
A flow pick.
It's a Dunlap.
It's a Dunlap flow. Now, I don't know. It's got a very pronounced chamfer on it. I don't know if you guys can see that. So this is the 2, and it does not flex at all. At all. It's, well, if I really bend it, I can get it to flex a little bit. And then the other one's a 1.5. So this one, believe it or not, feels almost as stiff or basically the same. There's very little deflection in these. So let me try this 2.0. That's what he recommends in the letter starting with. So let me try this thing. The pick I'm using now is a 0.68 millimeter Dunlap. And there's quite the difference in those two picks. So let's see if I struggle changing picks completely. First time using this pick. I can see where if you're a fast player, I'm not a fast player, but I can see where if you angle the pick, struggling a little bit with it, but I think I like it. It does roll over the strings pretty much effortlessly. Now can I dig in? Kind of like it. The chamfer definitely helps the pick get over the string. and it's easier to tuck. Kind of like it. Let's try the other one. This is a 1.5. It's kind of purple. And you can tell I'm playing pretty aggressively. That's not the thick's fault. That's me being overworked. My forearm is already on fire from doing that. I like it. Guys, I've been on the journey going to I think Jerry just said something to me last week about it.
Nicholas said try harmonics.
Try harmonics? That's what I was doing, pinch harmonics. I like it. And granted, guys, this is my first time using the pick. It is a little smaller, so I do find that it doesn't move around as much. It has some writing. It's like raised. I don't know if that's showing up on the pick, on the camera. It's got like a raised kind of writing on it. And that kind of acts as like an anti-slip. almost. It Now this material here is more sticky. Well, I shouldn't say it's sticky. It seems to bond to your hand. But this one seems like they've added a little raised thing on it. And I'm really not playing a shred guitar, guys. I'm playing a 40th anniversary shred. I don't think I'm having too much trouble with it. I'm missing that harmonic. And watch. Volume again. Now that was my fault. When I rolled the pick over, notice where the point is, it needs to be more up. So when I come out of my I can say if you come down on the pick, it's very quick. I'd say it's a good pick. I mean, I'm not a shred guitar player. You put this pick in someone that has a lot more talent than I have, I'm sure that they can light the fretboard on fire with it. I can tell it likes to jump over the strings effortlessly with that chamfer. You can see how it's chamfered on both sides. I'm trying to get it in the light where you can see the chamfer. So it really does glide over the strings. All I have to say is thank you very much, Mr. Nicholas. That is a very thoughtful gift. That's probably what I like about stuff like this, guys. This is not something that I would have probably bought at the store. I would have probably looked at this and went, eh. But since someone has sent it to me, I want to try it. And that's why I always say, sometimes we get so used to doing what we always do. Sometimes we need to break out of our comfort zone, try something new. And I think I might buy some more of these. And what I was saying earlier, Jerry, I believe just the other week, said that he was changing picks. that he was going to a thinner pick. And it was pretty funny when I responded to him. I said, well, it's funny you say that because I've been going to thicker picks. So I started out really with the orange or the red version of the Tortex. And I'm not too sure. I know it's a very flimsy pick. Then I went to the yellow, which was a little thicker. And now I'm on the green. And compared to what I used to play, the green is quite stiff compared to the red. So I'm not going from a super flexible pick to this 1.5 or this 2. I've had probably 6 or 7 months to acclimate from a real floppy pick to something a little bit more stable. I don't even have one of those picks out to show you guys. Let me check my little pick container here, see if I still have one in there. I probably don't.
Birdman's on.
Hey, Birdman. So here are the orange ones. So I have progressively been going up in size. I probably don't have any red ones anymore. And I don't see any of the yellow ones.
I think you gave the last of the yellow or the red to Chris.
Oh, yeah, I gave all the red to Chris, short bus, because he seemed to like it. And here's a yellow. So I have progressively been getting thicker and thicker and thicker. And someone had noticed, I guess about a year ago, they said the way I picked, if I went to a thicker pick, I would probably gain some accuracy in my playing. So I went and I bought progressively thicker picks in the Dunlop. Yeah. Hey, Niles is on. Hey, Niles. So I looked at the red, then I bought the next size, the next size, the next size, all the way up to the green. So I have been playing the green ones lately. But I got a ton of these orange ones. The orange ones are, what size are the orange ones? All these are misplayed. Now this is the one Jerry seemed to like. This is called a star pick. And I do like that pick because as you're playing, your fingers get, and the pick is very stable in your hand because of the cutout. I do like that pick. But it's not near as thick as the ones that were just sent to me. Okay. Well, I want to say thank you for sending the picks. And he also sent $10 to go into the guitar fund. So that added to the guitar fund as well. And I have not had any of my cocoa, guys. This is awful. So I'm going to ask Linnell what has been going on in the chat because I have not kept up with it.
Not much. They're mostly saying which picks they like to use. Like Kurt likes the red Torex.
Yeah, Kurt, that's the picks I was using was the red Torex.
Jerry said he took Kurt's advice to use the thinnest pick he has. He said no hang-ups, just flexes and keeps on moving.
Yeah. I played the red Torex picks. Oh my gosh, I played those things for years. When I say years, I mean years. I mean, I would play them in one night. Well, I could wear out 2 or 3 in a night playing out live. Oh, thanks, Devastator. Right. Yeah, I would actually keep the Tortex picks. I would take the 1200 grit sandpaper and I would just clean them up. I would do that a lot.
Derek says he likes the yellow or gold Torex.
Yeah, I do like the yellow. I hung on the yellow for a while. I only have one right now in the yellow. But I played the yellow for some time. The yellow Tortex. And I think the Tortex, Torex, or whatever you want to call them, with the little turtle on it, I think they're great picks.
Birdman says, "Hey Avery, I need a way to get in touch with you. I'd like to donate something for a giveaway."
If you go to the main channel page, click on information, and my email is there. If you send me an email, I'll send you my address.
He said he's one state down, so shipping shouldn't be murderous.
You know, that's what's funny. We just sent Jupe a guitar, and the shipping was reasonable. Now, the guitar I sent Jupe over a month ago, it was insanely expensive. This guitar went out for a third of the price of the other guitar. So we're here scratching our head on shipping. Sometimes, now granted, I didn't double box it this time. So I'm thinking the thickness of the last box had a lot to do with how they charged me on that. I'm pretty sure they hammered me because that box was like 7 inches thick. And it must have threw it into a different category as far as cost, because this box was what, 4 3/4? I think it was under 5 with the Firefly box.
What are you talking about? The size, the dimensions?
Yeah, the dimension.
It was 41 by 14 by 4.
Yeah, 4 by 41 by 14. So the box was definitely smaller, but it wasn't double boxed. And I felt like the container this guitar was in was form-fitting for the Strat. It fit around the guitar, so I didn't double box it. I did tape the you-know-what out of it, so hopefully it gets to him in one solid piece. I think 5 inches. When you cross on the thickness 5 inches on the guitar size box, that's when your shipping really starts shooting up. Because the last one, like I said, I sent Jupe, was 7 inches thick. And they hammered me.
And this one weighed 11 pounds, 9.8 ounces.
Yeah, this one weighed just as much as the last one. It was almost 12 pounds on the shipping by the time it was, in the box with all the protection stuff, the tape, all that. And the last one was right at that too. Even though it was double boxed, it was still right at 12 pounds. It's not like it was 16 or 17 pounds or 2 pounds heavier. It might have been a half a pound or a pound heavier, and that was it.
Devastator said he sent you a link on Teams for the group if anyone is interested.
What's this?
Devastator sent you a link on Microsoft Teams for the group if anyone is interested.
Oh, you do a group chat?
I don't know. He sent you a link
Okay.
on Teams.
Let me see if I can see Devastator's link. I still fire everything up through Skype.
Well, you probably won't be able to now.
Let me see. Yep, the last week was the last time that I was able to use it. I did do the Teams thing, so everything was converted. It's not letting me click on the Teams button. Plus, I'm doing a stream, but I did convert it. I'm not sure where it's at though. So we've been talking about doing something like that, guys, where we can have an open forum chat. I just haven't got it set up.
Well, see, Jerry White says there's a 10-pound block when you're sending stuff. It says that if you go over 10 pounds you're in a whole new bracket. And then he said, yeah, 11 pounds you cross the line plus $50. But this one was cheaper than the last one.
Yeah, this one was much cheaper than the last one. I got to go back. I messed up. Evidently, the stream is still working. So I have to go back into YouTube and get to my stream window, guys. Live. When I was looking up the Skype thing, it closed it. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I just know last time Jupe's guitar was almost $100 to send that guitar.
And
through USPS.
This one was $28.
Yeah, this time it was $28.
It still weighed almost 12 pounds.
Yeah, and almost weighed 12 pounds. So something funny. So I would, guys, when you're doing that, double check, and if someone gives you, just ask them why, or say, look, if I go down an inch in size or something, I don't know. But there was definitely something peculiar going on with a $100 charge. Jupe isn't that far away from me. Rhode Island is not like it's across the country. It's only like 2 or 3 states away, and they're small states. So I would say he's within 400 miles of me. So $100 to ship 12 pounds, that's pretty pricey. Speaking of picks, anyone else tried the Attack Stealth? It's like a jazz pick size but thick. No, Niles, I haven't. I've been on the bus with Kurt Inscale and everybody. I've been using the Dunlop Tortex or Torex for years, and I have just now kind of changed pick sizes. There might be somebody else in the group that has used that pick, but there's so many different ones. I actually do have some just plain Jane plastic picks in here from music stores. Here's a musiclily.com pick. I got a Sweetwater pick. Yeah, Sweetwater. And that's actually a Dunlop Torex 2. This is a white .73. But it says Sweetwater on the back. So I've got a ton of different ones, but they're all pretty much Shenandoah Music pick. Free plug to Shenandoah Music. And that's pretty much it. The rest of them are green, orange, yellow, or the red Tortex. That's all I have here. Jupe says USPS is shady. They said my address didn't exist. Oh, that's right. We went to ship Jupe's next guitar, and they said, well, this address doesn't exist. Linnell took it down there.
I had to pull his address up on
And she had to pull the address up on Google and show it to the dude to prove that we were shipping it somewhere that actually existed. I told Linnell on the phone when she called and told me about it. I said, well, we just sent him a guitar last month. They didn't say the address didn't exist last month. So it may just be they have a very antiquated computer system and it causes problems.
He said the same thing he told me. It exists when the bills arrive.
Exactly. Jupe told Linnell that the address exists when the bills show up. Yeah, they can find you when you owe them money. That's true. All right, guys, where are we at time-wise? Because we all know, Jerry hasn't made a comment in a while. He may have fell asleep in the chair, guys. I hate to say it, but
He said earlier that it was raining there.
yeah, he said it was rainy and drizzly and sleepy weather there, that if he stopped commenting that he's probably passed out in the chair. So, Jerry, we may have lost Jerry in the group, so we may have lost a moderator. That means everyone has to be super nice now, because we're down to 2 moderators. All right, guys, we're going to shoot for a 2-hour stream tonight. And I don't even see how long we've actually been on.
It's 9 o'clock.
Yeah, it's 9. So we're going to take a quick 5-minute break. And when this is something we always do, if you're new to the channel, we do a little intermission. That allows you to get a drink, go to the restroom, do that kind of stuff. So we're going to hit our intermission time. And it's usually about 5 minutes. And then we come right back and then hammer out whatever new topic is in the chat. So everybody go get some victuals, get some snacks, and we'll be right back. Okay, guys, I switched guitars, and I switched guitars for one main reason. Um, Linnell picked up another guitar a couple weeks ago. We showed it on the channel. She picked up an Ibanez, and I'm kind of digging the guitar. Um, I'm wanting to do something. I think I want to replace the pickups on it. Not that these pickups are bad, but she really likes this guitar. So I think she likes this one more than the Chapman because of the weight. It's so much lighter to play. So it is just stupid light. I can't even describe how light this guitar is. I like playing it because of how light it is. You could play 6 sets with this guitar and never have shoulder fatigue with it. It is crazy light. So I'm wanting to get some pickups for it. Everybody knows there's 2 pickups, and my 2 favorite pickups are the EMG 89, okay, which is active, and the Seymour Duncan JB. Those are my 2 favorite pickups. And the 89 is pretty much a little bit hotter JB, in my opinion. It's a little brighter, but it also has more edge to it. But I think I want to stay passive on this guitar because the cavity back here is pretty small. It's got 2 little cavities. And I really don't want to route out for a battery, if that makes sense. So I'm kind of curious what you guys think would be a good JB-ish sounding pickup. Something that'll still be nice on cleans because it still needs to play clean, okay? Something, just a good all-around rock pickup like a JB or an EMG 89 that might have a little bit more bite and more of a mid guitar smack to it. If anybody has a suggestion. I'm going to plug the guitar in and let you guys hear it in its stock form. It's quite a cool guitar. Oh yes, I'm playing your guitar. She's giving me the look, guys. Like, oh, you're going to play my guitar again. Yes, I am. And my headphone cord, I know it's me, but this thing just rolls up like a piece of spaghetti. I'm going to have to hang it from the ceiling and let it twirl out. And I got the new pick. I'm liking this pick. Now there I messed up because I was used to a little bit longer pick. It's easy to get the harmonics too. I need to practice. You know something? Since I did YouTube, I used to practice a lot more than I practice now. YouTube really takes my practice time sometimes away. So people are kind of look at me sometimes. Why do you do what you do? I get on here and I just play. I'm a firm believer of you can sit and you can learn a tune. Okay, let's say you write something. You can eventually learn it note for note. But when you're coming up with something new, you're not sitting there. Well, I'm not going to say everyone does it. You're not sitting there with music theory and really trying to write. I guess it's more feel. I play by feel, and if I find something that I like going back and listening to it, I try to adapt that. And there's some things that I'll do. It's like, well, it sounds good, and then I'll go back and listen to it. It's like, I think I took that a little too far because I like playing. I like playing notes that aren't necessarily in that key. I like using them as passing tones, if that makes sense. I try to push things. Sometimes things will work, sometimes it doesn't.
Niall says, does this Ibanez have a wizard neck?
Pretty much all Ibanez's have wizard necks. There's a couple different thicknesses. This is a thin neck on this guitar. It's quite thin. I would say it's right in line with my Nitros and my Vandenberg. I don't think this is Ibanez's thinnest neck, but it's definitely thinner than all my Kramers. It's probably... It may be the thinnest neck that's here, if that makes sense. It's right at my PV Vandenberg and right at my PV Nitros. And those are thin neck guitars. This guitar plays stupid good, guys. Linnell, I'm going to let her start picking out the guitars when we go to stores. This is a fantastic playing guitar, and it's so light. That's the thing. It is just so freaking light. One, it's a great guitar. Two, I'm really digging this pick. Nicholas, I definitely believe I'm going to go out and get more of these. I'm digging the pick. I'm digging the size, and I'm liking the extra thickness when I push it back. I'm liking it. I think if you give me a couple more nights playing with it, I can get it down a little bit better. I'm digging it. It's very easy. Like, I got a weird pick, guys. I pick with these two fingers, I think I said, and then I take this finger and I grab the pick and I roll it into this position so I can do my finger tapping. And then I take my thumb and I push the pick back out. And I take this finger and I roll the pick. I'm going to stop goofing off.
Nathan's on.
Oh, Nathan's on. My son, my long lost son that was supposed to come see me today but didn't. You know why? Because we were doing yard work. I'm just picking on him. Nate, I know tomorrow's Mother's Day, so you're probably going to Mom's house. Okay. Don't forget about Father's Day's coming up, so I definitely expect you to be here during Father's Day. I'm going to put this thing down. I get lost playing it, and that's usually a sign of something that you're bonding with. And I can't bond with it too much because it's not my freaking guitar. That's okay. I can kidnap it. I know the person that owns it. Isn't that awful? Oh, I'm liking that. You know, the more I'm like, you know, maybe it doesn't need pickups. That thing sounds just fine the way it is.
Yeah, Steven said, Linnell picks them, you take them. Ha, what a
Yeah, I'll let her, you know, she'll pick them. I play them until they're worn out, and then I give them back to her. And then she'll go like, well, you fix guitars. Fix my guitar. You're at fault. You wore out the frets. You need to refret my instrument. Well, if I refret it, I'm just going to start playing it all over again. That just creates the cycle all over.
I just have to hide them.
Isn't that awful, guys? But I am definitely liking these picks. I think it could be me. It could be like when you pick up a guitar for the first time and you're just awed about it. But right now, I'm finding it's very easy to tuck the pick in the way I pick the guitar. So I think with a little bit more time with me using them, I think I can definitely adjust and get a little better and a little cleaner on my attack. I play a lot of things, you know. Like I said, I'm not a technical player, guys. I don't sit here and I don't always have my thumb on the back. You'll see my thumbs up, you know. My thumb's up here, it's back here sometimes, it's up, it sticks up and it waves at you. You know, the true technical guitar player will always have their thumb back. I started learning that way, and then someone come up to me and they said, your vibrato sucks because your thumb is behind the neck. Your thumb is back here. And he said, it's really hard to roll your wrist. With your thumb is straight, you got to pivot like this. He said, put your thumb back up here and roll off the top. I don't know what the difference was, but within 2 or 3 months of me rolling my wrist kind of out of camera like this on those hard bends, taking the bone of this and setting right there, and then if you watch me play, I do it a lot. I'm rolling like that. It seems easier. It may not be easier for some, but I found it easier than keeping my thumb back here and trying to pivot like this. If I felt like my thumb was all over the back of the neck, it was like, oh, it's climbing up the neck as I moved my thumb like that. It wasn't staying stationary. So I started practicing my vibrato, especially my pulled vibrato. Okay, multiple string. Now when I'm playing like these chords, I'm definitely got my thumb straight up and down, and I'm bending the note. If you watch, here, I'll try to back up. Let me get my headphones again. So if I'm see, I'm using that thumb to get the accent that. Especially the chord's in the way. Especially on the... See, I lock that thumb down to give me pressure. So if you watch, I'm constantly doing that. And I know a lot of people would say it's a bad habit. Yeah, I think it gives you a certain sound. I've watched musicians that I would consider to be, pro players. And I see their thumb up there waving at you. I don't really see that one way is worse than the other, as long as you make it work for you and your style. I'm liking this guitar.
Nicholas said if you go back to your old pick, it'll be like roller skating all day and taking your skates off to walk. LOL.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to my old pick because Nicholas has given me a thing. Here's my green Dunlop. So let's go back to my old pick and. I will say when you're in bar formation, like I feel this pick on the upstroke hanging up more on the string. Let's go to the other pick. it rolls over the strings much easier. Sorry. Yeah, it's new pick, old pick. That's the big. You guys probably can't hear the difference. It's the feel on the up. I find myself. I feel like I have to dig in more with this pick to get it to scream. I'd say that I feel like I got to dig more with this one, and it seems to hang up a little bit more on the upstrokes. Old pick, new pick. Yeah, there's a definite difference. This one's much smoother doing alternative picking back and forth. Yeah. I think I found me I think I found what I'm gonna switch to, guys. I'm gonna buy a couple. Well, as thick as those are, I don't see me wearing that out too quick. What's the longevity on these picks? I'll ask from the guy that sent me. It seems like this would be a very durable pick. That this is not something that, like the Torex I use, if you can get a set out of it, you're doing good. And then it ends up getting rounded. Like if you look at these, this is what happens to the Torex. Sorry, guys. You can see there's a flat spot right on the end of the pick. And you can tell each one of them that I've used, they get a flat spot. And it doesn't really take long for that flat spot to show up. That one's really bad. This one, you can tell is semi-new. It's not really worn out there. The green one, you can tell I've played this one quite a bit. You can see that light green edge. That's the wear on the pick. Forever keep a whetstone by. Okay, I've got one of those. And what was the name of this one, honey? I keep forgetting. It says a flow. So this is the Tortex flow pick, guys. If you guys are curious.
Dunlop.
It's Dunlop. Flow. Dunlop flow. And the two he sent me is 1.5 and 2. This one's like purple and this one's really dark purple or black.
Steven wants to know which one you like better.
That's the 1.5. I think they're both great. I'm going more towards the 2 because I find that I don't really have to dig to get that attack. That's the 2. I think the 2. The pick is far better than my being able to play it. I think it's a little too early for me to say which one I like better. They're both very similar. I feel the 1.5 is a little... It makes me want to play a little faster, if that makes sense. put the 2. Yeah, I'd say the 1.5 if you're a better player than me, which shouldn't be too hard. It feels like it glides better over, and that could just be the way I'm holding it. But the two for me, I'm thinking I like a little bit more just because of the attack. You got to remember, guys, we like goofing off and doing shit like that, stuff like that. Sorry, it's supposed to be a family show. I apologize. But in playing, you're doing more of the rhythm type stuff. So if I had to pick right now, I would pick the 2-0 because I'm going to be more doing. During the song, you're going to be doing that more than just. Shredding on a lead. Unless that's what you do and you're just a shred player. If you're just all about shred, maybe try the 1.5. But for me, I'm more of a rhythm guitar player. And for me, digging in takes the most energy, so I don't have to exert as much energy. And I'm sure I'll get better the more I play with it. But just tinkering around with it the last 30 or 40 minutes, for me, I'd say the 2 is the one. And then what's funny, and Nick, in his letter, he says start out with the 2. So he's evidently had this experience. So he actually told me in this letter, hey, Avery, start out with the 2, get used to it, and then switch over to the thinner pick, the 1.5. So I would say Nicholas is spot on for me. He said he watched me play, and in his letter he said, hey, start out with the 2, get used to it, and then adjust and maybe go to the 1.5. So I would have to agree 100% with Nicholas. He was spot on for my playing style. Right now, just tossing those picks to me, the 2 feels more comfortable. Now, how Nicholas knew that, I'm going to assume his playing style is a lot like mine, and that was his journey on the pick and what he found worked for him. So he kind of looked at my playing evidently and said, okay, he needs this, and he was correct. For me, starting out, the 2 feels better. But I would ask Nicholas in the chat, what he thinks. Tell him how you play, what you play. He has the experience on the pick. He can probably recommend the size that you need to start out with. But he was definitely spot on for me, if that makes sense. And if I haven't said thank you to him, thank you for sending the picks, and thank you for the $10 going towards the guitar fund. Guys, I hear a lot that you guys learned from me on like the repair videos and stuff. But stuff like this, you can't beat another musician that can give you advice. If someone comes up to you, especially when they're spot on like Nicholas has been, as far as what I've seen tonight playing the two picks. That's something. That means he's got a reference and experience with it. So I'm here to learn too, guys. So that's what it's about. I'm gonna take these things off because it's burning up my ears. Burning up my ears. But I want to say thank you to him. And I've learned so much. Kurt Inscales taught me things. Jupe has taught me things. Jerry talking about guitars and tremolos, Jerry White. It pushes my thinking when you guys make comments. Oh, what about this or what about that? Or I hate this or I like this. And I think, well, why is the person not like this or not like that? And we're all different. And that's why it's nice to hear different opinions and from people that may play a little different and attack the strings differently. There's things that I want to play, but I'm a very aggressive picking person. And to play certain styles of music, you have to pick differently. You have to finesse certain things a little differently. That's what gives it that sound. But I do try. I want to learn chicken picking like you guys would not believe. I think chicken picking is such a freaking cool sounding guitar. And I don't really listen to country. I do at work sometimes. But when I hear good chicken picking, it's like, man, that dude can play. And it's one of those things I would love to do it. Maybe the chicken picker would listen to me play and go, man, I'd like to be able to do this or the harmonics or whatever. I don't know. But I find it funny that we listen to other styles and then we try to incorporate that, which is completely different than what we play, and we try to incorporate it into what we play. And in the end, does it sound like what we heard? No, because we put our twist on it, our style on it, and we make it our own. And that's what I've tried to do with my playing. I try to make my playing my own. I'm sure I sound like other guitar players. Everyone does. Because we listen to certain people, whether it was Eddie Van Halen or the guy from Dokken. I've got one as, I forget, he was in Lynch Mob. The guy from Ozzy Osbourne, I can't even think of a guitarist's name tonight. Steve Vai. All these guys I listen to, I'm sure something from each one of those artists has come through or changed my playing 100%. Without a doubt. Because without any of those artists, I wouldn't have listened to it and said, wow, that's awesome, how's he doing it? And wanted to go, okay, I got to learn this lick or that lick. So that's how we progress. And like I said earlier, once we learn it and we do our little twist on it, it's no longer really that artist's lick as long as we put our slant on it. And you can change the key, you can change the time, and that doesn't necessarily change the lick, the general information that you had in the lick. And when you're done with it, you end up with something completely different, but it was grown from something else. And I think I try to do that in my playing. You can hear a lot of different guitarists in my playing. But I try not to directly do it the way they did it. I try to add my twist to it, if that makes sense. Yeah, Johnny, exactly. If I could play that, I would just hang my hat up and say, yep, I've got it done. I'm the chicken picking master. Exactly. I've tried and tried. I'm sure one day I'll pick up the guitar and I'll be able to do simple chicken picking. Right now, it just sounds like a dying cat and squirrel in the back of a street alley somewhere in horrible pain. It's pretty rough, but I do try it. I want to learn it. It's just I need more practice, using my pinky and the finger here, picking up, getting that attack, and then the pull off that a lot of the chicken pickers do. They're pulling off they're like using open chording, but they're pulling off those open chords to get almost like a hammer-on pull-off sound. So they're doing that and picking up on the opens, and then using their thumb for the bass part, and to correlate all that together. That's what I'm struggling with. I mean, I could sit note by note by note, and that's what I'm doing now, but it doesn't sound good until you get it to speed. Once you get it to speed, then it gets that kick butt rhythm, and I just can't get it there. Every time I get even close, I end up screwing it up, or missing the chord, or misfretting, or not keeping the bass line going, or forgetting to take my pinky and upstroke the high E. It's difficult.
Kurt says your style reminds him of Jackal with a mix of Great White.
I love Jackal. It's funny that you say that. Jackal was an all. I was just listening. I've been talking too much. I was just listening to the Jackal song yesterday, thinking, and it was done like 2 years ago, and those guys are still rocking and rolling, man. They're an awesome band.
Kurt said learn the banjo for chicken picking.
Yeah, I don't have a banjo. I really need a banjo. Let me get some drink. My throat is like really dry, guys. Alberta King used a pick, thumb and fingers. Yeah, and exactly. A lot of that was a style that I didn't really spend too much time on, was the open chording, and then pretty much delegating a finger per string. I didn't spend too much time on that. I played a lot of the late 80s and 90s. I don't play too much of the grunge stuff, but I actually know quite a bit of grunge music. I spent more time in bars playing STP, Nirvana, Nickelback. The majority of what I played during my time out playing was that genre. Was 92 to let's say 2000. That's what people wanted to hear in the bars when I was playing out. That, not saying that everyone still wanted to hear, Leonard Skinner, the Led Zeppelin. That was the stuff when I first started playing out, and Eddie Van Halen, Lynch Mob, stuff like that. They wanted to hear that, but it gradually faded away, and it become more like STP, Nirvana. Like I said, Nickelback was big. What was it? Alice in Chains was big. Learned a lot of Alice in Chains stuff. And I don't really, I love that sound of that music, but I don't find myself playing that style. And a lot of it is a lot of those songs were in alternative tunings. So I try to keep my guitars either at 440 or 3540 down a half step. I don't do too many drop C and drop D stuff. I don't really, and I have the guitars to do it. I just don't find myself getting into the alternative tunings to play a lot of those songs. And at the time, I had 3 guitars playing out live, so I always had something in an alternative tuning. And we would try to pick songs that we didn't have to have 4 or 5 different guitars. Roy Clark. Oh, yeah, Kurt Inscale. Roy Clark was just freaking awesome. I remember my father and my uncle and all his friends getting together, and they weren't big Roy Clark fans. These guys were old school country fans. And I remember being young and sitting down in the basement of my uncle's house, and he said, "Oh, that Roy Clark just thinks he's something else. I've heard people can play as good as him." It was almost they didn't want to like him because he was so good. And I think there was another side of country music that really embraced him, but some people just did not embrace Roy Clark. I think once he passed away, then he got more recognition. When he was living, he just didn't get the recognition that I feel he should have got. That dude could play a guitar. I play modern metal mostly, tuned down to C. Yeah, I don't play a lot of that, Kurt. I think I should start. I definitely have the ability to get that kind of sound out of my amplifier. I just haven't really played too much of it. And then Jimmy, AIC is a half step down from drop C. Yeah, when you start getting into tunings like that, Jimmy, I think my strings would definitely cause a problem. I don't think 8 to 42s would be good string gauges for that tuning at all. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I would have to go to at least a 5410 or maybe a 5611 if I'm right. Soundgarden used crazy. Yeah, we played a lot of Soundgarden tunes. A lot of times we would just transpose it and play the root notes. And it did lose some of its feel if you could play the root and get rid of the. A lot of that alternative tuning, it accentuates the fifth or the third and gives it more of a diminished sound. You can still transpose the song and just put it in a minor if you can. Is it right? No. And plus, at the time, that was a new sound when I was playing it. So the vocalists at the time really struggled, trying to find a vocalist that could sing the. If you play this note, there's 3 or 4 different notes. The vocalist always wanted to grab on to a note that he heard in the band. To ask that vocalist to step down 2 half steps or 3 half steps to the third or 5 half steps to the fifth, and say, hey, you need to play the fifth here. I'm playing the root. He's going to play the third, so you sing the fifth. That wasn't something that wasn't done too much until grunge really made that alternative singing and stepping down vocals. That really made that take off. Now, in guitar and the bass did it a lot. The guitar wouldn't play the root. The guitar was always playing the third, the fifth, something else, and the bass played the root. But alternative kind of put it all over on its head. You didn't know who was doing what. Alice in Chains was big on that. Their harmonies were always, the 2 guys were singing 2 completely different notes, and then the guitar and the bass, they were forming a chord between the 2 vocals, the guitar and the bass. That's what gave them that wild sound. Jimmy says 25.5 scale. He plays drop C sharp on 46 to 9s. 46 9s. I'm gonna change. I'm thinking about going to a different string gauge. 46 9s might be. I was thinking about doing 46 10s or 52 10s, but I'm not sure yet. 46 9s might be what I put on my. I gotta get a set of strings from a Kramer Knights one, so I might put 46 9s on that. Why do guitars drop tune regular guitars? Why not use baritone guitars? That's a good question, Jupe. I think a lot of it, your scale length and your gauge of your string, all this stuff makes a difference. The way Kurt says, he's always playing. Kurt might be the one to ask on that since he's got a frame of reference on. I only have the one baritone guitar over here. So I haven't really played around with string gauges and stuff. And like I just said, when I played out live, we did some alternative tunings, but I never really stuck with it. I play mostly a half step down in standard 440. So I'm definitely the wrong person to ask. Because I want to do more in that style too. And I'm thinking, my fingers are very strong. So if I go to a 5210, I'm not going to have any problems bending. I could go to 11s. I guarantee I could go to a 5611 and still bend and not have any problems bending the strings. I have strong fingers. So it's not about that. It's just about what tuning sounds best on what gauge and fret scale. So I got 126.5, and the rest of my guitars are all 25.5 or 24.75. And what's funny, I find myself gravitating more towards 24.75, but it's much harder to play leads on it because the fret, even though we're only talking 3/4 of an inch total, okay, and you're talking even less down at the higher registers. What, it might be a 32nd of an inch closer, maybe, between those frets, but there's a feel that changes down there, and I find myself misfretting much more than I misfret on a 25.5 playing leads. So the 26.5 that I have over here, the Jackson V, I love playing leads on that. The issue that I have on that, in 440 tune, it seems like the top B and the E string flop a lot. And I get a lot of fret buzz. So it might need a thicker gauge string to get rid of some of that flop. I don't know. But it definitely seems to have a lot more flop to the string. The Ernie Ball Hybrid, yeah, that's what Jerry White's saying. Ernie Ball hybrids. I don't think I have any Ernie Ball hybrids. What's his name's guitar that I modified to drop C? What was his name?
Smoothie Buns.
Smoothie Buns. Smoothie Buns hadn't been in the chat for a while. But if you look on the channel, I took a Harley Benton and modified it to this special tuning that he wanted. And I told him I did very little experience modifying a guitar. And he goes, take it as long as you want with it. Play around with it, but I want to keep the tremolo. And I found a Floyd Rose doing drop C and drop D, very finicky in drop C. But I did end up getting that guitar stable in drop C. It took several different types of springs and 2 different gauge strings. I don't remember. I have to go back and look at the video what that guitar actually settled on. But you could move the bar around on it and kill with it, and it stayed in tune in that alternative tuning. That guitar turned out really nice. But I have very limited experience setting guitars up for that style of tunings. But he said I turned it into a bazooka, so he loved the guitar. So as long as the owner liked it, then I did my job. 9's on top and heavy bottom. Yeah, I can kind of see that, Jerry. That's why I was thinking about maybe going to a 946s. And if I went to 10s, I was going to go 52 10s, Jerry. I don't know if you have any experience with that or not, but that's what my little squirrel brain was telling me. I'm looking back because I know everyone's commenting on it. Devastator somebody was talking Joe Walsh. He says Joe Walsh is awesome. I agree with that 100%. And Jimmy's like a hybrid set, E standard to drop D, 42, 32, 24, 14, 11, 8. You know, I've never played an 8 on the high E. That's something I've never done. Billy Gibbons said it. Why work harder than you need to? Exactly. I can get that. Who watches Chris play? I'm going to say Darnate? Durate? I can't pronounce that. Birdman. I seen him in 2015. Lives live in concert. He's great too. Bird Chris is a classic. He let me check out his green Strat. Great at Hendrix. I'm just reading the chat, guys, trying to catch up. Birdman says, or he plays 11s, I think, or 12s. So what would be the top E? On 11s, I'm going to say it's probably a a 52 or probably a 54. On 12s, it's probably a 56. Maybe even thicker on 12s. Dick Dale said you can install pickups in a tail pole and have the fattest tone around. Ha! Wow. Okay, guys. We are going to. Now, I robbed everybody on the last live stream, and I'm sorry. I didn't do the 5-minute open chat window. But my throat is done. I find myself, I'm really getting hoarse. And we did 2 lives on Thursday, so I think it's just been a little too much. My throat's saying, I need a break. So I'm going to open up the chat to the 5-minute open floor. And if you guys would, if you all can think, one, I'm wanting to find a pickup. I may not change them in the Ibanez, but I'm looking for a new pickup for a couple guitars that I have. So I'm looking for something that's EMG 89-ish or Seymour Duncan JB-ish, but I want a little bit more kick. So if you guys would, go down in the comment section and leave me a post on what you think a good pickup would be on that. And I need a bridge and I need a neck. So that those 2 pickups need to complement one another for when you put them together. So a lot of people go just really hot on the bridge but they need to work well together. So if you guys have a suggestion on what 2 pickups, I could do EMG 89, I could go to the JB. I'm just wanting to experience something that's a little fatter, a little bit more edge, a little bit more punch, but still allows me to have a decent clean tone. So if you guys could do that for me, whatever opinion you have would be great. I would be curious to see what it is.
Dean just jumped in.
Oh, Dean just jumped in. Good to see you, Dean. So whatever comments you guys have, if you could go down and put that in. And if you haven't already, hit the like button. And I no longer have subscriber mode only on. So you don't have to be a subscriber to join in the chat. I think that's fair. I think you get subscribers unfairly the other way. Maybe they just want to say one thing and you get a subscriber. They might never unsubscribe. But this channel wants to work for your subscription, and I've done that in the past. We do really good reviews. We always try to do live streams, let everyone have their opinion and talk. I want the channel to be different. It's about you guys viewing and your all's input. And I've really tried to let that take the channel, if that makes sense. So if I've earned your subscription, go down and hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already. I would greatly appreciate it. And we have a Juke video coming up next week. I'm halfway through editing video 2. It will most likely not be on Tuesday this week. I'm probably thinking it'll be Friday this coming week before we get part 2 of Juke's guitar repair. And like again, I want to thank everyone for participating. You guys make the chat. So I'm going to switch it over to the 5-minute window here as soon as I get to the right thing. Let me see, which one is it?
Mike's on.
Oh, Mike, everyone's joining right when the stream is ending.
He said he wasn't able to comment, but he was listening.
Oh, he was listening. Mike is our long-lost moderator. I know Saturday nights is his Nate night with his wife, so I'm not going to say one word. Family comes first. This is a very family-oriented show, guys. We try to be mature here. We want to have fun and share our opinions. And we can do that and be professional musicians and courteous to people that's coming in. That's the group that I feel that we're building here. And so far, I couldn't be happier with the engagement that I see in the chat window, guys. And if you've given money to the thingy, we're at like 170 now with Nicholas's donation. And we did get something from Devastator tonight. I don't remember what it was.
$5.
Was it 5? So that's going to push probably like 173, something in that part. And again, if you want to chime in on what we should do, the two comments that I saw was they wanted to wait for like $450 to $600 price guitar. So if you have a comment on that, on what we should do, you can put that down in the comment section as well. So I'm gonna switch this thing over to the 5-minute chat window, guys, and I want to thank you for coming in. Without you guys, this would not be possible. Thank you.